Hello and welcome to Lloyd Lewis Artists YouTube channel. Today I'm very excited, a little bit nervous, I'm going to admit, to be interviewing Aine Divine. All right, you might know Aine Divine from Skylit Portrait Artist Competition. She was a finalist in that. She's going to talk to us about that a little bit later. But yeah, Aine Divine, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me and for interviewing me. Good.
Brilliant, thank you. So, first question: could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Ireland. I'm from Cork. I've lived in Edinburgh, near Edinburgh, for 22 years, and I have 3 Scottish children. And I've always loved painting and drawing, particularly people. I'm one of 7 children, and there was always models around the house that I could kind of draw when I was growing up, And I guess really my passion is creative living and incorporating creativity into daily life, really, and making it a practice, making it more than a practice, I guess, and because of this, sorry. Because of this kind of passion for creativity, I started doing these little videos, 30 days of videos on short bursts of creative action that people can do every day, and that's been my kind of, this year, that's been the thing that's been most inspiring for me. But what I'm supposed to be talking about myself, and what
You are. But I want to ask you about creative living. What benefits do you think creative living gives to you and your children?
Well, when I can manage it, incorporating creative action into everyday life, to me, feels like it just brings me back home to myself, particularly at the beginning of the day. If I can manage to do something, even actually just picking flowers and putting them on the kind of, on the table, and setting things up nicely for myself. I do a bit of yoga every morning, and so I put a kind of a table of stuff together in front of me when I'm doing the yoga, and that's already feeling creative. That feels like it's kind of already grounding me, and kind of I'm expressing myself and pulling colors together that I love, and that's something I do on a daily basis. And I just feel the benefit of that going into the day, and any sort of creative expression really comes from ourselves. And I suppose we are, as John O'Donoghue says, he's a poet and philosopher I love from Ireland. He's passed away now, but he says we're born creators, not functionaries. And
I love that.
It feels to me that when we follow that in ourselves, then we're far more likely to be fully ourselves in everything, show up more fully in everything.
I totally agree with that. I think I'm a former secondary school teacher, and there's been in the news that there's lots of mental health issues with children and teenagers and things like that. And I firmly believe that the increase in mental health issues in our children would coincide with the cutting back of the creative subjects in school. I mean, I was a science teacher, but I think I taught in a very creative way. Little boy, bless him. Yeah, I think. What do you think of that? I know it's a little bit off topic.
No, it's not. I actually was a secondary school teacher myself in the art department for a number of years. For about 10 years, I taught in high school here in Scotland, and while I really loved the subject of art and creativity, I felt that even that in a high school setting, well, I used to kind of feel as though there was a drive towards the exam, and it seemed to me as though the painting at the end had to be perfect, and that was the one. And so even within the creative arts, and even within the subject of creativity and art in school, I think there can be pressure that's not related to really creativity. There's something, I mean, although it's definitely better than nothing in high school, it's better than not having any creativity. And I know I met a lot of art teachers whose vocation was obviously to bring that passion for creativity to the children. But despite all of that, still when they have to operate for an exam, it felt to me as though it was kind of a little bit restrictive, and kind of, to me, creativity is something that it needs to be free for all, and everybody needs to. It seemed to me that a lot of, in school, it was kind of, you were siphoned into either being creative or something else, whereas it feels as though it's something that actually needs to be recognized in all of us.
I totally agree with you there, because there's so much kind of emphasis on pigeonholing children, even really early on. Oh, you're an arty a child, you're a mathsy child, you know, you're good at reading. And that's kind of, it goes against everything that we are as human beings, because we are not just one thing. No, you know, I mean, I love science, but I absolutely adore art, and you know, you can kind of say that they're kind of fields apart, but I think they're very much linked. To, you know,
Mm.
got to have creativity in science and things.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a friend of mine.
Sorry. She
What's
tears up
his
the
name?
drawings. This is Midnight.
Oh, hello. We got
She's,
a cat. Our cat wouldn't let us do that. Our cat Tiggy, she's a bit mental. So yeah, she doesn't need a vet. She needs an exorcism. Our cat. But
well,
yeah, there was there's a friend of mine, an art teacher. He said that there was a study a few years ago. They looked at like world famous artists and tried to put their work through the GCSE criteria, and lots of them failed.
yeah.
Incredible, you
That's
know.
amazing. I could understand
It's
that. It's
really
your
clever, but
secret,
it's
you know?
sad.
Hmm?
It's really sad to that kind of framework restricts, you know, these wider elements of creativity. I'm very
Real
passionate.
fresh thinking, Lloyd. I think I think it's the fresh thinking that I support and encourage. You know, and I think
Mm,
that's maybe not, you know, the kind of novelty factor that, well, the what we as unique individuals bring to the table, rather than
yeah,
as, and I don't know if that's possible within an exam system to
it's
kind of
it's it's really tough, but yeah, I agree with it. I think there needs to be more exploration into kind of divergent thinking and stuff like that, you know, and kind of coming up with more than one solution to a problem, you know.
yeah.
Very often in modern life there are more than one. There's more than one solution to
Oh, and that's the way we
myriad
need
problems.
to. Yeah, I think we need to remember that it's not black and white ever really.
No,
When you get close to people's individual way, then there's nothing black and white about us.
no, never, ever. Right, we've definitely strayed off topic there. That was brilliant. Can I ask you about Sky Portrait Artist? Because you were a finalist, you entered it twice, didn't you? I remember.
I
Um,
did
yeah, and you were finalist. I can't remember what year was it. 2014.
2014.
Yeah, and
So I as
what,
well in 20.
what's the effect that's had on your career?
Well, more people know me and know of me, and I suppose it kind of allowed me to, well, on Facebook and things like that, people kind of recognize, at least when they recognize you, you know, you kind of get more likes on the page and all that kind of thing. Um, but it wasn't like suddenly huge, loads of people know who I am or something. But
So you weren't
um,
you weren't having to you weren't being mobbed by paparazzi or anything like
no,
that. You weren't having to go out in disguise.
no. And I really loved being on that show, though. It was great
Hmm.
fun. It was really good fun. And more than that, it was, well, no, the first year I did it, I was kind of nervous, and we went to the Kelvin Grove in Glasgow to do the UK heat, I suppose, or the Scottish heat. And anyway, I was fierce nervous all day long. I painted in oil as well, which was not that familiar to me. Um, and it just felt at the end of the day like I'd been kind of tight in my tummy all day long, and
Hmm.
my head shaking. And so I was determined that the following year, if I did enter it, that I would prepare myself so that I was more relaxed in myself and just kind of enjoy the day, you know. And that's
Yeah.
what I did last year. Yeah, I did a bit of meditation before going in, and didn't bother looking at anyone else's work. I just kind of settled into my own way of painting, chatting around and everything, but not focusing on what anyone else was doing, just responding to the model. And it was on Irish soil as well. That time I did the heat in Dublin, so it felt a bit more like home, I suppose.
Yeah, it was the lead singer, Neil Hannon, wasn't it? The lead singer from Divine Comedy.
In comedy. Yeah, he was amazing. And
Yeah.
actually, the side me Conor Walton is an incredible painter. He painted a beautiful portrait of Neil, which he took home actually
Oh,
in
wicked.
oil. And I was glad I didn't look around, when I saw
Yeah,
his.
yeah. I bet, I bet. I was on, I was a wildcard entrant for this year's Sky Landscape Artist of the Year, so that was interesting.
Experienced landscape artist.
Yeah, I'm not a landscape artist in any way, shape, or form. I've only, I at the time I entered, because I got rejected from the portrait artist competition. So at the time I entered, I only successfully completed one landscape. So I thought
Yeah.
I can enter Sky Landscape Artist. So I didn't get in as a contestant, but I got in as a wild card. And I
Oh,
remember we were having to paint this big castle, and I thought, oh, bitten off more than I can chew here. But the atmosphere was amazing. Like, it was really communal. Loads of artists just talking and having real nice, laugh and things. And
yeah.
I got to meet Tyshawn Scherenberg, who I really respect. I think his art was so
Yes.
bit. So
Yeah.
he's exactly like you'd expect on the telly. Like he,
Yeah. They're all lovely, those three. They're really kind
yeah,
people as well.
yeah,
Very helpful.
lovely.
Hmm.
That's good.
But
That's good.
yeah, I was thinking of entering the landscape artist next year, and I kind of just thought last night I was watching the first episode of this year's one, and I thought, I'd like to do this.
You should.
So I think I'd apply for it.
Incredible.
And I'd forgotten all about it kind of for the last couple of years, and then I thought actually I want to do it again. So I might apply this year. The entries are open now. I think I just got
Are
an email
they?
yesterday. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah. February and April are the deadlines.
Okay,
To
wicked. I'm gonna apply for that as
yeah,
well. I think it'd be
yeah.
interesting.
Let's do
Right.
it.
Let's do it. Wouldn't it be great if we could be on the same program? I mean, as
Well, no.
presupposing I get in, I know you'll get in, but presupposing I get in, that would be awesome.
Do
So
you
yeah,
know that?
yeah, I think you've got a very, very good chance. Um, can I ask next question? Why do you paint what you paint? What inspires?
Um, well, I paint. I've painted people for a long time. Like I said, portraits, and just always curious as to people's particular faces. The landscape of each particular face is different depending on the light. I paint what I paint because I'm inspired by it. Really, I never paint anything unless I feel drawn to it. And then if there's a spark, and I'm having said that, most things when you're curious have inspiring qualities to them. So there are like I've been doing quite a bit of landscape, and I teach landscape art one-to-one, and I've been really inspired by the landscape in Scotland here, particularly in autumn time. It's amazing. I love painting flowers.
Mm,
Some drawings of these flowers behind me yesterday, and knocked them over onto my ballet dancer pictures. So they were all wet, but they're dried off okay. So and it's something the kind of the thing that inspires me too is newness, something different each time. I don't ever really want to feel like I'm doing anything by rote or the same all the time. And I think I love the element of chance. Like Paul Cleese says, make chance essential. That's the cat eating the picture again. Sorry.
that's all right.
See what she does. Look, she's tearing the top. Do you see that?
Oh no.
She's tearing the top off the picture. And my
Oh.
friend wants this one, so I need to keep her off it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so and a thing that you've asked me about the subject, but as well as the subject being inspiring, what I also find is gathering inspiring materials so that it's not only one particular. At the moment, I love using mixed media. That one is has got lots of different, collage and watercolor and different things in it. And I'm going to
Amazing.
put a quote on it because I'm getting a bit tired of it. I'm just doing the same thing for too long, so I need to make a big shift. I think
Yeah.
this thing of a big shift and moving things forward, having a platform from which to. Am I going all way off subject here?
No, no, this is great.
Okay, it's having a platform from which I can take the painting in a new direction altogether. So to always kind of keep open to new possibilities, I guess.
Amazing. So when you paint, would you say you're quite reactive in terms of what's happening on the painting? Do you have a plan, or do you kind of have a plan, but then it could go out the window if there's something that's really interesting that you respond to.
Yeah, I would rarely have. I know that those times that I've had a destination in mind, I've lost something of the aliveness of the thing. So having an outcome already planned, like Picasso said, if you already know what it's going to look like, why bother doing it?
Yeah.
And I think I love that. I just feel like, and whether, I suppose, being responsive, to actually believe your eyes and feel and sense what's actually here in this moment now, rather than being ahead or behind, but just actually absorbing what's here, selecting what it is that sings to you, and placing it down with as much commitment and bravado as you can muster, and then move on. So it's like all kind of feeling like it's a moving process that is possible to continue adjusting as you go. But I'm passionate about being faithful to what's here as well. So really observing keenly what I'm seeing and faithfully representing that, and being attentive. That the richness that's there, and being attentive is, I think, the pull that keeps me coming back to it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's really interesting. Next question. Which artists inspire you?
I'm inspired by lots of painters, really. You know what? I'm kind of more inspired by the words, by the things that painters say. Like I love the Matisse, and he says exactitude is not truth. And I love his work. I love the work of Joan Eardley, the Scottish painter. She's got a beautiful way of working in mixed media, and she had just a real passion for her art kind of thing, and did lots of really beautiful paintings in situ where she lived in Catterline, this beautiful rural village on the east coast of Scotland, and that every painting has a real sense of place. All of her paintings. There are a lot of contemporary artists whose work I love, and I think there are paintings in the midst of a whole ream of paintings that an artist does. There might be one or two that I really love. Like I love Rothko's abstract work, and the red and the orange and the tiny strip of light running through the middle. Love that one. And abstract work like that. And Tyshawn Schoenberg's landscapes actually are lovely.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Trees and yeah,
there's some stuff on Instagram. Kate Bryan put some stuff on Instagram the other day, I think, about and just showing one of Tyshawn Schoenberg's new paintings, and it seems a lot more kind of in that abstract kind of feeling of the landscape, as opposed to kind of clinical definition of a landscape, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love economy. Just one swipe. There's something in that of making there's something in the energy in every stroke. And I know I've heard people say look twice, draw once, or work up to the mark. But I think there's something very key in the entry into and exit from each mark, that you invest all that energy where it hits the page then.
Yeah.
Something I think very physical. I think it's an important thing to remember. We're physically, from the ground up and beyond, even that's invested in our work.
Yeah. I think that's something I can definitely work on in my painting. I think I'm a little bit too, focus in a little bit too much. I think perhaps.
Wonderful.
Maybe lose a bit of energy in my paintings. I don't know. I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment, though. So
yeah, you've got that kind of martial artist kind of force. So you probably have the power within a tiny brush stroke. That's that's what I'd have if I did this.
Exactly.
So you can chop someone over with your breath.
Well, I brush my teeth, so. Next question. What is the best advice you've ever received?
I have a friend, Damien Callan, who's an artist in Edinburgh and teaches art, and I used to go along to his classes quite a lot. And I still hear things that he says. I'm trying to think of a particular favorite quote now of his, but he would say to stand back often. That's an important one. I think taking the heat off is really important. The best bit of advice I've been given, I know Anne Oram, the Scottish painter, said to me, I would resist painting, because I asked her years ago, what should I paint that will sell, you know, when I was really needing to make a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, or when that was kind of more my focus, I suppose, which can never be your focus. The cat is really into eating all. Sorry.
She's really.
Still at the paper. I let her alone. She said to me, I would resist painting anything purely because people like it. I would paint something because you are passionate about it. So it's kind of a dangerous thing there, dangerous ground to go looking for what people want. And
Definitely.
I think that's life, really. I think, you know, that actually we're at our best when we follow our own passion. Which
100%.
brings me to my favorite books. I know you're going to ask me that, but I'm just
I
going
am.
to get it. I have a quote in my head that I want to see in the book
No
there.
worries.
And is it here or not? Actually, do you know what? Oh yeah, there it is. For God's sake, it was within reach.
I think referring back to what you said, I think it's all about authenticity, isn't it? You know, if you're authentic and what you're painting is driven through passion, then it becomes something that's sellable and, you know, and a commodity that people want to buy. If that makes sense, you know, if it's driven through passion, if you're authentic to what your kind of vision, then your work becomes something that people want to buy, people want to, you know, look at, and because it's driven through, you know, real care.
It's made with joy, really, and then it's gonna still be invested with that joy on the person's wall at the end of it.
Exactly.
But, there's being authentic is fantastic, you know, if we can manage it.
Yeah.
You know, really, that's the thing. And to really, I find going out in nature and stuff and tuning in as much as I can to really, you know, just to really feel that, rather than to kind of be coming from a place of thinking I'm doing noble stuff. And actually I'm only thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about that. Anyway, I found the page. Throw yourself into yourself. This is a book called You Are More Creative Than You Think. And I picked it up in the cafe. I kept reading it in the cafe, and eventually they gave it to me. And yeah, it was nice. The #1 cafe in Innerleithen, they're brilliant, Emma and Craig. So I gave them another book instead. Nice. So this chapter is called Throw Yourself Into Yourself. And it just says, I'll just read a couple of lines. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not doing what you want, what are you doing? Surely it follows that you must be doing what you don't want to do. You're probably doing what others want you to do. Give yourself permission instead to follow what excites and intrigues you. This is how you can get the most out of yourself. I just love that. I read that
That's
yesterday.
great. That's the definition of a happy life, though, isn't it?
It's good to remember that in every moment, like, and just to feel like, no, am I doing this only because it look good, or is it because I really want to put that color there? You know, something like that.
Yeah, I think definitely important. So that brings us on to our next question. What book would you recommend any artist to read? Is that the one?
Well, I'm sorry, I've got more than one.
Oh no, that's absolutely fine. This is a selfish question because I read a lot, and you know, I'm always looking to kind of absorb knowledge that other people have, you know, suggested, and you know, so this is for me.
Yeah, fantastic. So, well, you probably know The Artist's Way. This one.
Yeah,
The Artist's Way I recommend all day long. I mean, I for a number of years just opened it anywhere and read a few lines. I'm not great at reading from start to finish or following things, but I did eventually do the 12 weeks that's suggested there as well. And I love what she says. I love what Julia Cameron says about art and all the different quotes that are in there are by other people that she's kind of gathered together are very inspiring to me. Yeah, there are quotes for everything. Yeah, so I love that one. And then this one, Free Play, I got for my birthday this year. And I really love it. Yeah, it's a fantastic book, Lloyd, on creative. Every sentence is rich. So it says improvisation in life and art, and it's by Stephen Nachmanovich. Wow. And then I got it from Scott Young, who's an ex of mine. But I really love every sentence has got something in it. I can't find anything now, of course. But I just knew when this is a book I really wanted. He just talks about actually I should have really hang on now. Let me see. There was one bit that I really wanted to kind of read out. Okay, so the issues raised in this book also point toward some activity beyond individual creativity, beyond art. Let us call it the imaginary liberation front. Not art for art's sake, but art for life's sake. That's a bit kind of ambiguous, sorry. But it's
No,
like
nice though.
talking
It's a
about
nice
how,
idea.
yeah, creativity is like really important in our
Yeah.
lives.
Oh,
It
it's
makes,
hugely important. I've worked with people who, you know, almost wear it as a badge of honor. Oh, I'm not creative at all, and yet, you know, they've selected the ensemble they're wearing, they've decorated their houses and things like that, and yet they think that they're not creative. You know, these are teachers, and for me, teaching is inherently a creative art. You know, it
yeah.
has to be.
I
It's
love this
things
as
that are
well because
inherently
it gives a
creative.
reverence to that. It kind of honors the creative, you know, it gives it the
Mm,
reverence that it deserves. And like
absolutely.
Julia Cameron says, there's nothing noble about doing the dishes before doing your painting, or, you know,
Yeah.
let the other stuff that's peripheral be there and
Mm,
follow your, you know, we're here, you know, as creators, not functionaries.
yeah.
And you
I
can
love
have
that one. That's
messy,
great.
you know, within reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that one. And then the one, You Are More Creative Than You Think, Rod Jenkins. It's just a really fun book about different, um, it's a fun book about, and with loads of different little anecdotes about creative living and ways of igniting that fire in us and all that.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much. So, Anya, I really appreciate you agreeing to this interview. It means a lot to me. Um, Finally, can you tell our viewers where they can find out more about you? So, your social media, your website, and things.
Okay, so I've got a Facebook page called Aine Divine Paintings, and that's Divine with an I, Divine, and my website, which I've not looked at for years. Um, and you can, I do, well, it's supposed to be a weekly newsletter. It's not weekly, it's about every 3 weeks now I do it, an email newsletter. So you can access that through Facebook. You can see my website, and well, it's Anya at anyadivinepaintings.co.uk is my email address. So you can send a message there if you want to get the newsletter. And I guess if you just Google, oh yeah, I've got a YouTube channel. I try and do a video every day. So this has been the video of the last 3 days now doing this painting. So it's just about 10 minutes long. But
Mm.
it's kind of, and there's a Facebook group. Oh yeah, we've got a Facebook group
The
that's
Facebook group is great.
30 Days of Art. Are you in that? Yeah,
I am
30 Days
indeed.
of Art, it's called. So you can just kind of ask to be a member and I'll say yes.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Bye bye.
All right, all the best.